Okay, so yesterday I didn't have any time to video. Man, I probably look like a big wreck. I've been out here. God, this week, I'm not even kidding how crazy it has been. Like, he's been so busy. I totally feel the energy is changed in my life. Like, oh, man. It's even to the point where it's like, it's a lot. Let me think. Because it was when my son-in-law was there, it was trippy because it was like we went into some kind of other space-time bubble or something. It was like it was separate, and like I don't even know how to explain it. He kept saying like, this is so weird, and about how time was moving and stuff. It looks strange in here. Like the colors and stuff are way different on the screen than in my house. Oh, I guess because my walls are all wood. Hers are all white. So it looks weird. It's distracting me. Oh, and just hurt my arm really bad. Let me think what I was talking about. So he was talking about like we had gone into some other kind of space time bubble thing or something, because it was like time was moving different, and the things that we were getting done and stuff, he couldn't believe all that he got done. But it was like as soon as he left, I left, and so it's just been going. Even that night, the last night he was there, we stayed up, and I did a couple of little mushrooms, just a couple. I didn't. But it seems like plenty to me. Like if you're gonna try and do those, like I've said, start out small, because you may be hypersensitive like me and just go into like crazy places. Like I've been into cartoon world for 4 hours. I've been all sorts of stuff. So anyways, we set out and we had a fire. He had worked hard for all those days. We went out and ate, and then came back. And I went and had a margarita at the dinner. It was a habanero something. Mango habanero. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was so good. Oh my God, it was so good. And then we came, we had a fire, and it was just fireworks nonstop. But we got to have so many good talks. And I had a lot of good talks with him. It was really fun. And spiritually, he's like, I mean, he can see what's happening. It's like he's aware now that his stepdad is around him, and he talks to him and stuff. He went and bought silver. See, my daughter still hasn't. And I was thinking, I wonder if they're splitting, right, during all this. Has, like the souls are going at different kind of paces, and yeah, I mean, he's upset now, he got that. And, but there was pressure on him from his wife, my daughter. She can put pressure on me. I'm like, hell to the no, I'm not doing that. I don't give a shit about your pressure. And, but anyways, so he's getting a whole new perspective that he wouldn't have got if he was still with her. So I think, I know it's hard to lose people and stuff, but I see such, things in him just opening up like crazily. And that's what's supposed to be happening, That's what this is all about. And so, it was something else. I had like a few things that were coming in my head. Like there's been a lot of stuff, I mean, I don't remember. I haven't even been on TikTok. I haven't done a TikTok video in like a week or something. They just keep holding my videos anyways, and it's like, I've got shit to do. I can't just go play games all the time. And right now, though, everybody's just talking about, I've been on for a couple seconds, and every time I go on for a couple seconds, it is about the sound of freedom and Tim Ballard. So yeah, it's looking more and more like when you go and you keep hearing all of this stuff about his research and the whole thing, the foundations, who's involved, what, just the whole thing. Like everybody can make their own decision. Like my mom and I have been kind of battling about that, a few things. Like, but she just went and saw it yesterday. Oh, because I was out there painting. That was the other thing. So I started the painting. And it's kind of like where I'm walking is a ledge. and it has sand, and it kind of goes down. And I was sitting in a chair trying to get a flower low because it's like the side of a building. And so I'm doing all these flowers and leaves and stuff on it. And so I was trying to get one low, and the chair slipped down, and I fell, and I went down on my wrist somehow. I felt my whole thing on my wrist. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Ugh, it hurts. It's like you can't do anything. I just gotta keep letting it rest. Ain't no fucking way I'm going to a medical thing. Another thing, like, I've moved so far beyond what the people around me, it's so weird. I've been an outcast my whole life, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like preparation or something for this, because this is a lot, there's a lot to go through, alone. I've made that so clear, I said it so much to Danny, or my son-in-law. People don't know the names, so my son-in-law, when he was there, I haven't washed my hair in a while, and it's really hot and dusty everywhere I've been working. It's really hot and dusty. I did do some vinegar rinses, but I haven't done anything since that one day where I did one, and then I did another one, and it seemed to just dry my hair out so bad. So anyways, and it just looks weird. I gotta quit looking because it's distracting. So what was I saying? Because the painting, the dust, no, there was something I wanted to say. Oh, because the medical and stuff, yeah, because I'm so far leaned into everything that's alternative at this point. Like, and since it is, me from observation, and I don't know that everybody understands what that means. Like, I don't know. It's just, and like conversations I have, it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of wearing on me, honestly. It really is kind of wearing on me. I really want to use my other hand. It's not strong enough to even push my hair up, I don't think. This is wearing on me. This is what motivated me to, my mom went to go lay down. I think we got up at like 4 and went to bed. I've been going to bed so much later, and I'm just tired. After I get done with this trip and I get back home, I'm just gonna kick it, I think. Just sit there and relax for a while. There's been a few things of that. It's the religion thing, man, that gets me. And then anytime I try and say anything that is like, I don't know, logical to me, it is weird. It's so cold, like, it trips me out. Because it is, like these talks have been going on all morning. Not arguing or anything. It's just, it comes to a point where I say mine, and she says hers, and it's like, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, We'll see. Because from the other side, well, not the other side, there's several sides. The side of certain Christians, I don't know what they all believe, I only know, but they don't have to worry about any of this. They don't have to work on anything. They don't have to be bothered. They don't need to hear about anything rotten or bad, because Jesus is taking them away from it, and that's, they're getting to leave before the tribulation. The tribulation is when everything gets worse, and people are going to go to hell, and hell's so much worse than this, and that they're going to go, but they don't have to worry about anything, because they're rapturing out, in my opinions, like, I don't know for sure, because it doesn't make sense to me to rapture the good people out if it's going to be heaven on earth. And then there's always circles around that one, and I'm always like, yeah, but it's supposed to be heaven on earth. So, like, who should be raptured? Well, I don't know. I just know I am. And so there's been a bunch of things about that, she told me, if she raptures, like she's planning on it, that I need to make sure to tell everybody she did not get taken by spaceships. She left with Jesus. And I said, yeah, I will, but if I'm right, then you have to promise that you're going to look into some stuff I'm saying. She goes, well, I don't know, because I know I'm going, so I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. And then, but this one is the one that really, I just can't get it out of my head. It's just like, what the holy hell? Okay, so, the topic of who's being raptured and whatnot, and it's kind of like this little thing going back and forth. I'm like, well, Mom, you don't need to worry too much about how long this is going to last. You're about to be raptured anyways. I mean, why worry about it? Something like that. And so we've just got this thing going, And then, so we were driving, and she's got problems with her eyes, really bad problems, which I keep telling her, don't go get those eye shots. She's going tomorrow. And so she just goes to get the eye shots and all that. She takes all the medicine, whatever, in her eyes, whatever. Which I know they're making her eyes, from what it sounds like, they're doing, it's got some new name. It's fucking Swiss cheese eyes, is what it sounds like. And so there's holes, you can't see everything. And they're fucking doing this. They just are. I don't give a shit. I mean, there's people now saying, have anybody noticed all the dogs are going blind? Yeah, they're doing all this. So, but you try and tell people, and they're just like, I know, but really? But anyways, everything's awkward, especially me. So we're driving and she couldn't see very good. Or something, there's holes so she can see. There was some quails crossing the road. And so I was like, oh, wait, they're little tiny and they're crossing. And so she slows and, oh, thank you, I wouldn't want to hit the quails. So there's some cars coming towards us, and they're not slowing down. Like a couple of quails who go the fuck, they're just full speed ahead. And little tiny quails jump and fly over there. And I was just like, oh my God. It kind of people just make me sick, like, oh, let's just go kill the quails or whatever, or, just kill whatever. And where I gotta get to, gotta get home. My program's starting. I gotta get programmed. My beer's getting warm and I gotta get programmed. So go to the, get in the, I think, I go off on these little things that I start seeing all these other little, okay. So I said, oh, well, see, in what I believe is those are the people who are going to be raptured out. The people who don't give a shit about Earth and other humans and stuff. It's the bad people getting raptured out because it's going to be heaven on Earth. So that's just how I see it. And she's like, no. And, the Bible was written by God. God is the Word. God, oh, my Lord, have mercy. And then, so she said, no. Well, I don't know. That person could be raptured. They could be a Christian. They could love Jesus. If they can be raptured. I said, so that's who gets to go to this new heaven? Is this, I'm going to run over birds and then just, hop on all the boats. And then she's like, yeah, well, everybody is made of sin. Everybody has sin. I'm like, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta go record. Oh, because you guys know, I don't even have to say. I would hope to God, anybody who's been watching me this long, I hope to God you know how I feel about that. Like, okay, yeah. I even said, so, so is he supposed to do all the work for everybody, I don't even remember some of the stuff. Like, it's just, I'm like, so you can just kill somebody as long as you go, Jesus, call me in, Jesus. Then you're good to go. You just go straight on it. Well, yeah. And yeah, it has to do with if you love Jesus. And I'm like, So you can be, and this is what always got me too. I used to say this when I was a kid. Is to be like, okay, so you go in, you know, Ted Bundy could be in there slaughtering, murdering, torturing, and everything else, and then he gets, go, Jesus, take me, and then he's all good to go, good to go. Don't worry about that mess. Jesus got your back. I'm like, well, I don't know what this heaven place is like. There's no place I want to be. I'll tell you that. That's not the place for me. I'm not hanging out with a bunch of ego fucking, like, fuck. Like I said before, I don't know, you know. All these souls can create whatever the fuck they want, you know. It's an energetic thing. It's a frequency thing. You know, if they're all in alignment, like, yeah, well, just, fuck, I don't know. It's so strange to me to just be so much like, you know, just do whatever. And, you know, a good person who's been good their whole lives, caring, would never harm anything like that, but doesn't know Jesus, well, that guy's going to burn in hell forever. But you can go and fucking slaughter a goddamn family and just call out to your Lord and save you, and he saves your ass. Yeah, I don't know about that place. I think it sounds a little bit more like Satan in hell to me than fucking heaven, but you do you. As far as I know, it's like, I just keep wondering how in the hell is this going to play out? Like I said, I've been saying for a while that you know, Christian or religious people are going to have a hard time because they're so indoctrinated with that's the only way to God, and it's through somebody else. And there was one conversation, and she was like, well, you know, this is what the Bible says or whatever. And, you know, that's the Word of God. And I said, well, I have the Word of God inside of me. He speaks inside of me. And so I go with that. And then she started, well, Jesus speaks to me inside of me. I was like, yeah, well, tell me different. So that's what I'm going with. Yeah. Tell me that, you know, it is about energy, it's about balance, it's about souls, it's about vibration stuff. It's not about just being, you know, somebody who can't forgive themselves, somebody who can't heal. I mean, but I would assume, you know, that they can create that reality for themselves. They can go, but to me, it wouldn't be high vibration. It wouldn't be, you know, unless they're all in agreement that they just want to sit at the feet of this guy and sing for eternity. Then, I mean, I don't know what trouble can happen with that, if that's what they all want to do. I would think, you know, maybe people get bored after a while. If they haven't healed or something, it sounds like it could be some downfall that could happen and turn right back into the same cycles that happen everywhere else. So, I don't know. But to me, I mean, I know the benefits of healing. I know the benefits of raising your vibration, and it is a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual connection to yourself is the only way to do it. So it is, you know, and when people are going outside of themselves for religion or whatever, then they are going outside of themselves. So it's, you know, but like I've been doing this, you know, I mean, I've been arguing with her about this stuff since I was a kid. About religion and stuff, I've always been like, no. How is that a God that you want to worship? How is that somewhere you want to be? Well, that's the place again. But why? Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. It just is like, ugh. And it's frustrating to me. But not about that, just about, you know, just wanting to help people to see the truth. And all the people think the truth is a lie. It's not. I've been talking to these people since I was a little fucking kid. I've watched the truth. I've witnessed. This is a book that I'm holding all my faith in. This is the connection with my higher, the spirits, the world outside of us. And it's so weird to be in a world where nobody is in it with me. It's like, what? It's so I really thought too, I kept thinking, oh man, me and my mom are gonna have so much to talk about, but no, she's, leaned into this other thing. Like, don't want to worry about it, don't want to think about it, don't want to, all I want to do is just waiting for him to come. And she said she thought he was coming, could be a year and a half or so. I said, no, I don't think so. I said, this shit's got to go down. It's got to go down fast because there's a cataclysm coming. And I don't know if she believes all that. But it was like there's a cataclysm coming. I mean, NASA scientists are all crying about it, saying we got to tell the people, they got to be warned. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. And it's like, I've seen that video about 100 times. And then Putin, I'm seeing him out there saying there's a cataclysm coming. We need to be planning for. I've seen, what was it? It was something about Trump because I started saying, oh, he's trying to get us. They're trying to evacuate people and get them into safe places and stuff. But there was something else. That made me think of, I don't remember if it was something that was said or whatever. I mean, like, I know right now he's saying about, we're going to get to the bottom of all of this autoimmune, all this cancer, all the, it's got to get that up on the, so everybody's looking at it, we're shining a light on this, so everybody's preparing, so your mind starts, as soon as somebody starts saying something, so your mind, your soul, like, it goes in there. Even if you're not thinking, you're thinking about it, it's in there. And just like how they always know, like they've done it so many times, is like you could be doing something, thinking something, whatever, and it was pop back in this thing. Fuck. And you'd be old as fuck, man. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And so is, all those, are, people are getting all of those kinds of things. And it is, so it's kind of, people are getting a lot of seeds planted right now. And so when they say certain things, it keeps being like a soft open or something. A soft open here, soft open there, over this or that. So you start thinking like, I mean, to me, like I've gone too far into this shit, like, but I guess apparently some people only think about what Kim Kardashian's doing, which she's going down. She's in trouble. But, people don't have time to think about their own selves. They gotta think about somebody else's. So they are, it's such a distraction too. But the, what was I gonna say? So they get people to worry about what they're doing, not worry about what look at things deeper. And so there's so many people who just don't know any of this stuff at all about anything. And so, I'm surprised at how crowded I keep hearing the theaters are for this movie and stuff. But definitely, the movie is going to be about way more. I mean, I just saw somebody making a good point. Like, if the movie was really telling us the truth, if it wasn't something about something else, why wouldn't they be telling us about the politicians and shit and how they're involved? And another one somebody else said is, this movie is only out there to try and get everybody outraged and upset, so they go to the politicians, and the solution is going to be chipping your kids. And there will be people who would be like, okay, well, yeah, I don't want them to be trafficked, my God, So that's how they work. I don't know how far we're going to go into it, but that's finding yourself in the mouth of the beast, man. But there is people, who always run to their solution, and that's why they're always creating a problem and offering a solution, because they always want that solution. It is like they have the solution, but how do we get them to take it? Well, we create this problem, and then they'll be forced to take it. So it's always like, they're so underhanded and dirty, man. Just their whole way they think is just different than most of us think. Most of us aren't thinking of like how to control the world. How do I make that person do this? How do I make them think this? How do I make them eat this? Like, most of us are just like not thinking like that. So it's really hard to wrap your mind around how these other people, you know, how they think or how they perceive. Like, it's weird to me, like, to know, you know, I have like a strong spiritual background, like way stronger than most people, for God's sakes. Fuck, I can't even, you know, it's so crazy because, you know, even religious people, as far as I'm concerned, aren't on my level. You can call yourself religious all you want, but yeah, there's this, religion holds you back from your spiritual level. Yeah, you want to level up on your spirituality, you got to go inside. That's what Jesus was trying to tell him, you know. But the whole thing's manipulated, you know. You can't just sit here and blame people. They want to believe in something, and they gave them something to believe in, and they twisted it all up, and they deformed and distorted creation and creator and all of it. So, just, you know, sad. But, you know, everybody, I don't know, it trips me out, kind of, because I want to think everybody knows the truth in their soul, but this whole, whatever, this reincarnation recycle thing, if they were really doing that and catching people when they left their bodies and interfering, if they weren't able to get all the way back to where they normally go, there's something about the whole thing with the white light and it being to pull them in to like, my battery's low. I'm not going to be able to, I haven't plugged my phone in a day, so I will plug it in. Maybe I can do another recording. But, you know, I have to run out to the car, find a plug. I don't know, I could go, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking to y'all like, do you guys want to hold on and I'll run out the car and get a plug-in? I was just thinking, well, my mom has some plug-ins right there. Let me just look real quick. Hold on. I saw this one. Let's see if that fits. I get so familiar with y'all. We're just all friends now. In my mind, in my imagination. In my crazy world, everything's so crazy anyway. So, might as well have a crazy world. But, you know, it fit. I don't know. This is good times, huh? I don't know. I don't think that fits. So, I'm gonna go run out to the car. I don't know if that would take a minute. Guess I could do it. Y'all could just go take a bathroom break. I'll be right back. Started thinking, oh my God, I could die while I was doing it. Okay, I'm back now. Hold on. I'll jaunt out to the car in my bare feet. Oh, and I got those Jesus sandals. I don't know if I already told y'all. Still, we stop. Please sit down. I didn't leave. They're all made out of rope. And So it's the bottoms, everything. And they're really soft. And I like them supposed to be, you know, more connected. Yeah, I think they're called, I just put in Jesus sandals, but they're also Nordic traveling sandals, I think. But anyways, if you want shoes that you can go out and be grounded still. So that's why I got them. Okay, let me think what else I was gonna say. But it's like really freaking me out, man. It's like just the whole attitude. Like, so you can be a rotten son of a bitch and be mean as hell, and then just say the magic words and you're good to go. And then people who are great people, like, how do you not? Well, it isn't me. It's in the Bible. It's in the Word. It's Jesus. Jesus said it. God said it. So, yeah. But what about the editor and the publisher? Well, no. Think about it. No. Okay. But I just feel like this time, which nobody wants to seem to use for reflection or use to heal. Everybody's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be really a small amount. Maybe it's just going to be us. Maybe it's just us. Maybe we're the only ones here for Age of Aquarius. The ones that listen to me and me. Maybe that's it. I mean, hopefully we'll have a good time. I know we will. But no, just like, man, so many people are just like, they're enraptured, going back to their home planet. They're, I don't know, gonna go to Armageddon or, you know, remain in hell or something. Like, so many people are planning for the future dystopia. Like, okay, well, give it all the energy you want, I guess. I'm not gonna be there. Fuck that. I'll be giving all my energy towards the Age of Aquarius. Like, you know, I'll be with those souls. We'll be the ones creating heaven on earth. We'll be having a good old time. We'll be, you know. But my mom, see, she thinks like it's tribulation can be too horrible. It's not worth it. It's not worth staying in it. And I'm like, we're in the tribulation. No, it's gonna be way worse than this. Like, okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, with what's going on with the money, I mean, they've already said they were going all in on the February 1st with the Fed now. And now it's just kind of like, let's just not talk about it. Let's just pretend we never said anything. And at the same time, you know, finding bags of Coke at the house. Some of these stories are so ridiculous. Whose house? Because nobody's at that one. You got the movie studio house. Y'all all go playing there. Like, and there's some of these reporters, like, they go to the press conferences. Like, where are you? Have you ever really been to the White House? Have you always been in a studio that was pretending to be the White House? And so that's what you're used to, and you don't know that that one's not there anymore? Like, it's a weirdo world. I get so sick of them trying to keep on telling us that things aren't, the things that we already know that aren't real, and they keep pretending they are real. It just really is annoying to me. And it really is annoying to me that people keep believing they're real. It's like, God, it's annoying. So annoying. God, I'm fucking so ready for this to be done. I feel so isolated in my state of consciousness, my state of being. And, you know, I can only assume, you know, that this, whatever event is really going to be the shockwave, you know, that gets people to see the truth or something. But so I'm still, I feel like that there's crash thing, especially with the whatever this Pluto thing for the 28th, that sounded legit. Like, everything changes, financial things change and stuff like that. So we're in this time of, like, the planets are lining up. And that's the shit, you know, to me to pay attention to, is like, what is the energy doing? It's the movement of the people. There's an energy. You pay attention to how, like, what everybody's attitude is also. What does everybody, and you see, like, everybody's suddenly talking about, it's the Ohio train. There's I mean, right now it's Ballard and the Cry for Freedom. People exposing him, which is just like, whoa, gosh, dang. And I mean, to me, I swear, it's Trump's face. That's what got me. And when I showed my mom, she goes, yeah, but, I mean, he would look weird if he was sitting there looking like he was happy, joyful sitting with this guy. I'm like, it's not that, If your whole platform was you were taking down you were handling the traffic, you're handling it, and then the king handler is in your presence, when he's out there doing your dirty work, he's on the street, he's on the road, he's pulling them out, I think you'd be a little more impressed. I think you'd be a little bit more like a compadre, not look at him like you want to come over there and just pull his fucking head off his body. So yeah, we all get our own discernment, and and then even if you're wrong or right, it doesn't fucking matter. It's just for you to look out for yourself, so you can kind of see, like, well, why did I think that? Well, what was I looking at? And a lot of it's so that we can see our own biases, so it's all about being able to see ourselves, recognize our own self, and there's a lot of, it's like looking through a haze, which my eyes keep improving. And I'm going to go all in on the castor oil now, is just really using castor oil on your eyes every night when you go to bed. I always use it on my eyes anyways. It's just a good cream. I use it all over my face, but I usually put it on my eyes I put it on my eyes all the time, but when I go to bed, I'll put it all over. It's good for taking off your mascara too. And then, even though it probably look like but some of it's just dirt. Down there, the dust is fucking hot as fuck. So, but, so when you are, when things are coming up, it's not so you go into shame and guilt and hate yourself, because that's, even though these people think God's some evil bastard that they almost sing to in case he's gonna fucking burn them up again. But it's not like that. There's nothing, there's not a judgment on you like that. The judgment all comes from inside of you. It's how you feel about yourself. And then you go out and you set up situations to confirm your biases towards yourself. It's twisted, but it just works that way. And so, that's why when you start being more aware of yourself and more healthy in your psyche, in your mind health, your ability to maintain your composure, to hold your, patience, like Stella's constantly putting a test on my patience. When we go out and start walking, and I'm like, let's walk. And it's like every 2 seconds, you yank me back so she can stand somewhere and just smell something for 5 minutes. And so she's always trying my patience, but that is like a workout. So it's not just a workout, like we're gonna go walk and get a little workout. No, it's a work on my patience as well. So you get to work on whatever you want. Like, everybody knows what they have to work on. And anytime that you can recognize, like, well, do I get mad? If something starts to irritate you, are you happy with that? Do you want to be irritated, or you want to work on it? You want to stretch it out a little. You want to try and get a little bit more patient, a little bit further, you get your string a little longer, so you're not a short wick. You just keep stretching it a little bit, to pretty soon, you sit next to screaming kids on a trampoline while somebody's, all that stuff, and you just sit there and be like, oh, it's a nice day, It's got to get to where you want, It's not like my goals or somebody else's goals. Everybody's got to have their own goals of how they want to feel. And you've got to remember that this stuff that is happening is your higher self, your more advanced self, the part of you that can sit in observation, that can watch a crisis and go, well, I know there's a good coming from that. Is that part of you is, came up with your plan, the design of what you're going through. So that's why you need to connect to that or go deeper when things happen. Go deeper into it. Don't, don't stay on the surface. Go deeper into things and try and really understand yourself. Try and see, like, what is my soul doing here? What's happening here? What is the problem with this person? Why am I drawn to this person? Like, different things. It's all about this awareness. It's awakening awareness to yourself. And then what you don't like about yourself, those are your opportunities to heal it, reduce your trauma and your pain and your suffering, release victim mentality, and then to not just heal it, but it is you are the one who gets to, on every single part of you is a spectrum. There's poles at either end, but you're in somewhere in there, and you get to decide. You're the one at the wheel. My arm is just fucked, but the steering wheel of what I was talking about, of keeping yourself in balance like that. You're the one at the wheel. So it is up to you to be recognizing, like, what is the obstacles, what's going on the road, how do I keep myself, and really, one thing too that a lot of people do is feel kind of guilty or something, like they're doing something wrong. And so you've got to start recognizing when you feel something. Don't think like, well, I shouldn't feel that. That's just, I shouldn't be upset. Or I shouldn't do it. No, you got to recognize yourself. You got to acknowledge yourself, validate yourself, and be like, yeah, why? I'm pretty angry about that, or that makes me super happy, or whatever your thing is to just to understand it, like, to that is growth, that is healing, that is becoming closer to your higher self. You're working with your higher self, so you're coming in union with your higher self, because you, the vessel, which in all of this stuff, it could be the thing with the matter in the vessel and your connection to it. So if you think you're flesh and blood and you're going to die, and you're going to die. I swear to God, I think this has something to do with it. I've said this since the very beginning, but I just see it so many times, and so there's just a lot of things, like, you don't get a whole thing. You get like bits and pieces. It's like a puzzle, and you're always putting together pieces. And like, I completed a puzzle in 2020, like that puzzle completed. It was like a whole fucking puzzle I've been working on my whole goddamn life, man. And then all of a sudden it was like everything went together. I got to see so much, but all of the things that you see, it's things have to be put together. It's very much just like having, it could be 1,000-piece puzzle. It could be 2,500 pieces. One with a lot of small pieces. Not very often is it just big pieces and you put them together quick. It's a game. We're in a game. We're in a game of growing and learning. And it's this time of evolved. Well, it's always evolving, because we're always, through every single lifetime, we're expanding and changing. So it's always evolving. It's like the universe is in this movement of evolution, of evolving. So there's always that action. But that's the thing. It's like, it's so weird. Like, when I talk to people who have these other ideas, like who follow religion or whatever, and don't understand energy, don't understand, like, sitting there telling people like their soul's gonna leave their body and not gonna remember them, they're not gonna remember their people and all that stuff. That, I mean, book after book after book of near-death experiences. I came out of my own body. I knew exactly who I was. Like, there was nothing. There was not one single thing that made me think, where's my body? Where'd I leave that old thing? No. I felt like I was walking. I felt like everything felt completely regular. The only thing that looked different was that everything looked kind of gray and smoky. And I just thought it was weird, because I thought, I wonder what all this smoke is. I wonder if it's burning. I don't smell smoke. Like, I'm having a whole thought while I'm walking to the bathroom. This is like, I'm getting up, going to the bathroom, having all this thinking about the smoke and all that. It wasn't until I got into the bathroom and it was like, turn on the light, kind of. Probably I couldn't have turned on the light. But it must have been like I turned, and I don't know, did I look in the mirror? For some reason, always when I look back and think of it, I always see myself in the bathroom looking in the mirror and seeing myself, but I know 100% that I turned back on looked at the bed. When I was thinking about the smoke or something, I looked back on the bed and I saw my body laying there. And as soon as my mind wrapped around that was my body, and it was like, it recognized like, oh, there's your body. What's going on there? And then it was like instantaneously, you know, just like how they say how a soul travels. As soon as you think of something, you're there. And it was like instantaneously. As soon as I thought, whoa, aren't I supposed to be in there? And it was like zip. And it was like a vacuum. It was weird. I felt like I went through my feet too. It felt like it just whoop, vacuumed right back in. And then I guess I don't remember if I woke up or anything. If I sat up, I don't remember anything of that any other time around that whole experience, except for being in this kitchen, these people. It was always older guys too, of people I didn't know, and then dumping in all these making these brownies. I was like 16, like I'm an expert, and I'm in there making them with these other people. I wasn't the only one, and then they came out and just eating. I don't know how many I ate, or a couple. I had pot brownies before, but we put a lot in them. I made pot brownies. I know I talked about this before, but I made pot brownies in high school and took them to home ec class. I was such a. There was a reason why I was getting licks and shit all the time. Like, I was a wild one. Let me think. The brownies. Oh yeah, and then coming out of my body. That's the part I always remember. I mean, that part is implanted into you. Like, I mean, from that moment on, I was like, oh my God. When you come out of your body, you're completely yourself. Like, there's nothing, like, nothing that is not you. Like, people keep thinking their body is them. Their body's representing them. Their body's doing this. Their body has the DNA. Their body has the brain. Their body has... It's not. Your body it's a fucking hologram. It's like the picture that your energy is using to play the game. It's like I've got a lot of board games and stuff on my mind, but you know, we all have those visuals of like board games and the little characters and stuff. And in the video games, I think the video games is really so representative more of this place. But the video games of, you know, people go in and create their avatar, and then the avatar can go in and play. The avatar doesn't have to die. You can always come back, and that's true. But we were talking today too about aging, because to me it is health, aging, and all that is a state of mind. And I said I believe people age because of medication, for one thing, the chemicals, and the sadness and depression. They just get themselves into a point of just feeling bad about themselves. They feel, you know, it's easy to start feeling yucky in your body, you know, like a woman can go have a baby, and then, you know, after she has a baby, she feels like yucky in her body, her stomach's all smushy and stuff. And so as people age and stuff, then they start having all of these things changing in their body. But that is due to a lack of exercise, stopping, you know, thinking, well, you know, part of it is probably part of them keeping people on the hamster wheel. And so then once they get off the hamster wheel and they're finally going to retire, the last thing they want to do is go to the gym. You know, they just want to go out and go fish and stuff like that. But you have to maintain, it's a part of our body structure or something. Otherwise it becomes decrepit. It's kind of like you got to keep painting your house, or, you know, stuff like that. There's an upkeep. And so in order to maintain your body, you got to keep moving. You got to keep challenging yourself. You know, you don't just become soft and lazy or dependent on other people to do your work for you, because then you become dependent. And the whole thing is, as a soul especially, is what we're breaking free from is dependency. Dependency of how you see it, I have to see it, and shame and guilt and people forcing you to look at things the way they do and stuff like that. So all those things, those systems of control are kind of breaking apart. And that is the reflection of independence for each individual. It is the sovereignty of the soul, but the soul has to reach that point. That's why it's like a graduation. It has to reach that point of understanding itself, to believe in itself, to understand itself, to understand, all of the whole thing. So it is it's not just enlightenment. There's another word I think for it, like this, but it isn't like, even if you reach, all the total goals, there's always more to keep, your conscious, it's hard to not use my hand, your consciousness it's so much of a creator. So, it's like releasing limitations so you can become your full self, because everything else is limitations. Everything else is somebody else holding you back because they say that's not real. They say this, they say that. So that is you giving up. But the thing is, what are the people giving up? Because they don't even have it inside them, because they're so turned off from their own inner guidance. So they're not hearing the message and they're not knowing. They're just, trying to follow along with the rest of the crowd, like keep up with the crowd as it burrows through life or something. Just stay in movement with the crowd or something. This is the breaking free. The crowd is used as a safety, but you can see it's not productive. It's not healing. It's divisive. It isn't. That is not an incompletion for the soul's development, to get into a crowd, like, and just be a part of a herd or something, to be a part of like the deer herd or whatever. That's like a lower state of consciousness. To be, we're animals, so be in the herd, to break free from the herd, to root off your shit out of there and start seeing yourself, red nose and all, who cares, just be you. And that is, and people have to, through that process, see, you have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to accept yourself. That's a big one, I mean, I think most people feel, kind of hideous or ugly or judged or whatever through our lives. There's just things, and some people cover it up really well and some people don't. But I think most people feel pretty bad about themselves. They have a real lack of self-esteem. And that is what they do to continue the herd mentality, use the herd against itself to control it. So that, and that's why they want people to feel bad. They're easier to control. And keep them medicated, easier to control. So it is, it's all part of their problem solution agenda, and they're so devious of how they're always in control. But, what are they really in control of? I mean, they're only in control of what you let them be in control of. If you don't let them control your mind, they can't control it. You can start witnessing when they're trying. You can be aware of it, you can see it, but they lose control when you know. And because you see it, you can see it coming. They can't do it with you watching. And then so, to me, it's important to come into that recognition and awareness of seeing through their bullshit so that they can't trick me. But I mean, you're still going to be tricked, I mean, there was fucking, see, when did I very first hear of Tim Ballard? I don't know. I mean, Jim Caviezel, I just started hearing about from David Rodriguez. So that was in 2020. And there's so much coming out on that fella. Like, I don't know. That's a hard one, too. It's like, why is he always like all these pictures with the Pope and stuff? Like, oh man, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe some of these people are MK Ultra or something, and they don't even know where they're going. Who fucking knows? Like, God, I would hate to. I feel bad for people who went and got caught up in the Hollywood stuff. Like, I think most people who went there had no clue what they were getting into at all. I mean, none of us knew. Like, ugh, but man, that's like dancing with the devil. So, ugh. I don't know. But Ballard, like, yeah, I'm not pretty 100% in on him, but I only heard of him, like, when I started hearing about this movie through Juan, I think, is when I started hearing about it. It was about them, so, I don't know, I haven't listened to Juan talk in, like, I don't know, a year or a year and a half. It's almost stuff on time. Well, I heard him say something the other day. Somebody had a video, a TikTok video. So I don't even know if it was old or whatever. I don't know what they filmed it off of. But he was saying the same stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I only have known about that Ballard guy, I don't know, 6 or 8 months or something, maybe a year or a year and a half. I have no idea when I stopped. It was sometime, I don't know, it couldn't have been 6 months. 6 months, I don't think was that long ago, even though it seems like it was like fucking a century ago. But I don't know. So I wasn't even all in on him being the good guy. I just didn't even think of it. I thought, oh, well, if they're making a movie about him, he must be good. See, it's that fucking programming. Yeah. So, yeah, everything is backwards and upside down. So if they're making a movie, especially like right now, they're making a movie about us because they want people's names on the tip of our tongue. Rolling off. So we know who these people are. And, it's been a show of that since 2020. All these politicians, and then hearing like, God damn, this person's, oh my gosh, yeah. So that has been a real eye-opener to me. And so, yeah, this Tim Ballard, who knows how many more of these people are they going to be coming out like that? But I thought, yeah, that was probably the best point I heard of all of the people in the movie. I haven't gone and seen it or anything, but for them to say, why didn't they tell, if this is so true and so real and really trying to bring a show for people to see the truth, then why in the hell aren't they telling who's really taking those? Why they're stealing so many? Why they've got to act? Why there's such a big overturn? Why we need, now they're seeing 125 million, and people are like, that is, it's like the size of a country of all of these missing, so I don't know. What I do know is that this is all about exposing the truth. It's about this world turning upside down, so we see, and then when realizing this was no way to live. We were living subhuman, substandard, and we can do so much better. We can have so much more free of our life when we're not dependent on, thinking, oh, well, I could get a gold chain if I went and worked there. We get all caught up in what we can have. People go and work so they can go buy a few things. It's like, there's going to be a lot of people who have gone and dedicated their time and stuff to working and have no skills. And this is going to hurt when some of this shit goes down, and it's going to be for each person, but there's going to be shit that's going to go down, and it's going to hurt some people for, the choices that they've made. There's going to be a stiff consequence, and it's going to be rough. Just, to me, you got to get into that observation. You got to get into, even if they are sitting there and they can't remember, you got to go into your own, soul, and you remember, okay, it's okay. This isn't really happening. They're not really, this is so they can play something else. They can work something else. They can work through something so that they can expand themselves. So it's to start looking at it in different ways, so it's not so like, oh my God, it's one tragedy after another, because it's only going to pick up steam. It's not going to like all of a sudden guys have less. I would think not by the end of summer, but this could drag through through fall. I don't know. It seems like to me, because they went in all on the Fed now. I think when they did and they tried to turn it on, they saw it was going to go straight into quantum. So they turned it back off, and they were like, okay, so now what do we do? So I think they're trying to come up with another, well, let's drag it out another couple weeks. But see, I think that the white hats are pushing in because the cataclysm is coming. This cataclysm thing is going to happen. I mean, they projected the changes on the map fucking years ago. They knew it was coming. They just keep wanting to distract us because, well, for one thing, they know death isn't real. Like, it's all a game. So, but the thing is that there's more going on. And when you connect to your spiritual side, then you see about the balance and, like, there's so much, but it comes to each of the souls, each cell. Each of them has to take their role. Each of them has to do their healing. Then healing becomes everybody, because it's kind of like, is it set up like that, or it's already connected like that? Like the people are already connected like that, like a herd. And so that's weird how they kept saying herd mentality. But it is, like, when you think about it, like, watch how people, like, they need the group to go around with. That's why when I was saying about the LGBTQ, which is still like, fuck, how long, it's still being, people are running in trying to rescue it, other people trying to tear it down, like it's all over the place. But all of these things that hold people back from who they are, because people join a group like that, but then it holds back another side of them, because then they're not allowed to have a different perspective on the fetus removal. They're not allowed to have a different perspective over who should run the country. They're not allowed to have a perspective. So it contains you. And so that is why, you start seeing so many problems with groups and relationships and stuff, because when it came down to it, they only agreed with like one thing, everything else, and then they were just focused on the one thing. And so it's holding you back from all the other things of you, because you're doing to try and be a part of the groups. That's why the groups have to fall apart, because people can't pull themselves out of them. The groups have to, it's like the hand of God. That's the energy, the universal energy sweeping through to push it. Just like, it's like I said, where all the people were, need to lose weight, but they just can't do it. It's, well, don't worry about that. The universe got your back. Because they're going to, but it's not going to be like a simple thing. It's going to be like all of a sudden you don't have food, and maybe you don't know how to cook. Maybe there's no restaurants by you. There's going to be things like that, and it isn't to punish you. It is so you reprioritize. So you start looking at things different. You go deeper. You start trying to understand things in a deeper level, and even food. I already went through the food one, and I talked about that. I think I talk about it periodically, but I've been talking about it the whole time. Is it's the relationship with food, it's the attitude towards it, just like I talked about before, how there's people who put weight on to insulate their soul, to keep them protected from the outside world, because they are scared or vulnerable or feel pain or whatever, so they don't heal themselves. They just keep this barrier, but the barrier ends up making them feel bad about themselves. So instead of going like, well, I don't want to feel bad about myself, I really want to release this barrier. But then once the barrier starts being released, then you start having triggers, you start having things happen, and then you have to stay strong and be resilient. You keep going and healing the things. So many people on their weight loss journey have said it was a huge healing journey, and because the two things go together. So when these things happen, it isn't like the universe or God is coming in and saying, oh, you're bad, you should have done this, you should have done that. No, it's your lesson. But the lesson isn't like, oh, well, you learn your lesson. No, it's more of like an opportunity to learn lesson. So, but now everybody takes their opportunities. So it's important to take your opportunities, in my opinion, if you want to become more enlightened and more aware of yourself, which is a positive, productive thing to me. But you do, it's isolating, obviously, and you do look at things very differently than most people. And so, but we are transitioning, it's, and my guys have shown me and shown me and shown me, and it's not in a book, it's right on in here. And I've been doing it since a little kid. And, they show me what's to come is, well, I know it's going to be good for some of us, like the people who are going to be meeting some hard challenges, they're going to go through some stuff. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people. So, but it's good for them. That's the thing, is they think, like everybody looks at stuff like it's a punishment or something. Like, God's just standing up in the sky with lightning bolts waiting to throw them at us if we, say, God damn it, or you say Jesus Christ, or, obviously you can run over quails, that's no big deal, or, I don't know, and kick dogs and fucking do, whatever. That's all okay. Just, make sure you say his name. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. It's always blown me away, always. Like, I'm not shitting you. I think I've had these arguments since I was 10 years old. Like, what? Why? No. How does that make sense? I remember when I was a kid, I used to be like, yeah, but what about all the kids like over in blah, blah, blah country where they don't have church? Then what happens to them? Well, they go to hell. Okay, no, that's not God now. I don't know what the hell you're talking about now. What you talking about, Willis? You know God I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, that's, I don't understand that being comfortable with that. Being comfortable with worshiping somebody who, that's not just. That's not, that's like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I mean, it's not for me to tell anybody what to think about it. It's everybody just take in their own information, find your own information, and you decide what you think about it. It's not for me to decide what anybody thinks about it. It's just, there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things to look at, and a lot of different ways to look at it. And, all I know is in my present time and what has gone through in my life, what they have shown and told me, and, since 02, when did I get my brain? 09. And since 09, it was, I can't just say since 09. 09 was just the tragedy that just threw everything off on my life. But, the real part of where I started really waking up, I don't even know what it would be called, waking up then, I guess. It was just all about healing. It goes together. And I had to heal. I had to get better. It was get better or what, end up in a nursing home or, stuck with some abusive husband or something. So, I don't, but it seems like to me it was around 2015 when things really started, where I started going like, they started showing me things and telling me things, and when I started knowing about the event, and I just knew all these people were going to start going through what I had gone through, but it was all going to be different things. Some were going to have tornadoes and lose everything. Some were going to have storms. Some were going to have tragedies in their family. Some were going to get sick. Like I could see it all. But I knew it was all so that they were going to have the same thing as me. They would all have to go through this process. You have to go through the crises. You have to go through, the whole, the crises part is it can last a while depending on your crises. And then you have to go through, like it's stages or something. But the crises, and then I had other crises on top of crises, so I was just getting them piled up on top of me. And it's, I don't know if it's just like a crash or something, and then it's pick up the pieces kind of. But to me, it was so much about rebuilding, about really starting to understand myself, and just being more aware of myself, and being more aware of, like, I want to have healthy relationships. And so, knowing it, well, you can't just put it on somebody else. You can't just always say, well, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. Oh, I can't have a good relationship because everybody in the whole wide world is mean to me. So it's up to you to start figuring out, like, well, why do I feel like everybody's mean to me all the time? And so then you have to go in and heal this stuff. Looked like there was black there. I could sit here with black on my face. I didn't even notice as well. The black. No, that wasn't what I was gonna say. Okay, so Jesus. Man, I don't understand. But that is in all my comments and stuff too. Like, it's such a different philosophy. And that's one thing too about this whole thing with the 13 original souls or something. Yeah, the 13 original gods, the 13 original aliens, or whatever, the 13 original conscious beings that realized they were conscious, or whatever. I don't know, but it would be weird if one of them was the earth, and we're the things that are connected, coming out, like the bubble, like what I was saying before. But I don't know, but yeah, energy could be here, be in there, and then energy leave that and go somewhere else, and then go into that reality, go into that. Yeah, it depends on how it has to get into it. Like in this one, you have to get birthed in. I don't know about all of them, like all the different ones, but supposedly, and I think also Matthias Distofano talks about this on initiation. The original 13, it was like 13 philosophies, 13 perspectives, 13 approaches. And so, and something about the experiment that we're in right now is like all those DNAs are mixed, so that we all have to figure out how to come together on these things. So that's the completion of the experiment or something, is us all coming together and overlooking things. And that's why it's supposedly this huge thing in the galaxy or whatever, because it's these 13 different approaches to life. And man, I'm telling you, it is weird, because there is, like, if you ever get any opportunities to really get in and talk to somebody about their philosophy on life and death and God and all that stuff, and and how to look at things and how to deal with things and stuff, it is very distinct difference. Like, I don't know, but then again, I haven't had an opportunity to meet a bunch of people like me or anything. But I think that's also been a part of my soul's journey, is to experience that isolation, because it builds me up to being stronger. Like, you have to have a thick skin. You don't have anybody who's got your back. You got people behind you who are snickering at you, laughing at you, pointing at, can you believe that one? She's a real weirdo. I've seen that a lot of, so, but it builds a thicker skin. And luckily, my internal is strong enough that I always had that to rely on. But others, a lot of times, I'll whine and cry at them, but, it's still lonely. I'm still, to most people, I'm just talking to myself. I'm talking to just, I don't know, fractured my personality and talk to myself all day, I guess. So, I don't know. I guess myself is pretty smart then, because it tells me shit I don't know all the time. So it's pretty damn smart. But anyways, to me, all of the things are about, it is all about coming together. Like, that's the solution. That is a big part of what's going on here, but it's coming together in a different way. It's coming together as healthy and whole instead of coming together as damaged and needy and vampiric towards each other and always needing somebody to fulfill us rather than us figuring out how to fulfill ourselves. So, this is a huge growth. And, as far as I'm concerned, I told her, I've said it a bunch of times, as far as I'm concerned, people rapturing out are low frequency. They're the bad people. They're not the good ones. The good ones will be here because it's going to be heaven on earth. No, they won't because of the tribulation. They can't go through the tribulation. I said, we're already in it. No, this is going to be way worse. I'm like, yeah, well, remember, you're not paying attention to everything going on. It's pretty bad. It's pretty damn bad. I saw, all of France is gone. I saw a French guy who was obviously more progressive. He was so angry, just fed up. And he's just like, man, they've just burned all of France down. Every little town, every place, everywhere you go, it's just all destroyed. He said, France is fucking gone, man. And so, I think it's tribulated. I mean, we all have our own perspectives, our own ways of looking at things. And, and it's not worth fighting with anybody over. It's not worth fighting and destroying relationships because none of us know for sure. How does anybody know anything for sure? The only thing we're going to know is when shit plays out. When shit plays out, we'll all see. There won't be any we'll all see, and it's probably going to have a little bit of everything. There's going to be a little bit of this person right, a little bit of this person right, a little bit of this person right, a little bit of this religion, there's going to be a little bit of everything because that's to bring us together. So we stop going and dividing on what keeps us separate, but realize what brings us together. Because the things that keep us separate are just our way that we see things and stuff. We don't have to divide on these things. We can become higher minded, we can become, realize I can think and feel and see things the way I want to. It's my life, it's my energy, it's my, it's me. And I don't have to convince anybody of mine, and I don't have to shift mine into anybody else's, and just accepting everybody. And that is when we will be going in that age of, the age of expansion, the age of love, the age of abundancy. And so, everything, you just gotta think. Like, to me, it's like, goddamn, just using logic. Like, if we're in this certain place where most people are miserable, and, I call it hell. Most people, they think, this is living, I guess. And so, all of that, wait a second, I got lost. Because all of them, living like, it's kind of like what people are willing to accept too, is the amount of abuse that people are willing to accept. And then also that has to do with karma and balance and, and playing the part. You have to play the role that you came into play. It's like set up for you. Like I've said, it's like your destined path. Your role is set up, and it has to do with not just, the role. It has to do with your lesson plan. It has to do with you're working on, what your soul's working on. What are you, what things are you trying to break free of? And you can notice things in your own life. Like, you just think back of like when you were a kid, things like you were scared of, or you, or something that was always coming up for you, there were certain things, like when I was a little kid, I started talking about conspiracies all the time. And I was always talking about conspiracies, and, that was something that I was supposed to focus on. It's part of my role, part of my being somebody who's out here talking about this stuff. Other people are not interested in it, and a lot of people are scared of it. And my mom was saying something, and I said, yeah, but I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it as like it's scary or something. I look at it as like awareness, like seeing things. I'm not scared of it, and I'm not scared to die. Like, death isn't real. Like, it's wacky how, I don't know. It's like they need death to exist in order to live, in order to fuck, I don't know. I don't know. It's just things going around in my head. It just tweaks out my brains, man. It's like, how do I gotta quit trying to figure out, like, how do you see this? Like, how do you think? Like I've said for so long, like, I don't get how people think. Like, what? How do you, what? Like, I don't. Like, I just don't. I mean, it's supposed to be that way. That's a good thing, because I can't go around judging people. If I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. It's foreign. It's not in my comprehension. And there's just, man, there's still, like, you just watch how many people in churches and businesses and families, like, man, it just keeps coming to me more and more. There's going to be so many people going down, especially just like right now with Tim Ballard, LDS, and the other church they're involved with, and then church foundations they're involved with, and all this stuff is going to keep linking all of these things in there. And all of these, and there's going to be people who are going to be going down. Like, I told my mom, I said, well, be prepared, because you're going to start seeing, like, people are going to start being arrested in churches and stuff, and in families and stuff. It wasn't just like the elite were doing this to us. No, people played roles. People were doing crimes, everywhere. They were doing what they thought they needed to do, and it has all to do with your intention. That's how you look at things in your heart. Were you really trying to hurt people? Were you really trying to survive? It all has to do with that for karma. And so your intention matters, but we see people all around us with the intention to harm, to cause disruption, division, and all that stuff. It's in their heart. So when they go and create those things, and that's what they're just trying to do, see, they're putting things out of balance. It's different when you do it out of ignorance. It's not the same, but you have consequences when you do things out of ignorance and stuff. You have consequences to learn, and there is a balancing. There is it just all depends on the things. But those are I think those are probably included in those laws, like the law of attraction. I don't know all the laws. I keep seeing people talking about there's laws of this, laws of that. But all I know is that there's laws about balance, and I don't know if they talk about them or whatever. I just know that there's laws about balance. And that has to do with karma. There's certain things. It's how this place is run. I don't know. It's people want to change what things are. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna be so glad when fucking shit goes down, man. I just wish it would hurry up. It's so crazy how they can drag this shit out, man. But I don't know. I'll tell you all the different things that I hear, all these different people talking about and saying and stuff. And I don't know what's inside them. I don't know their guidance, but I'm gonna be shocked. I will be shocked if I'm off on the things, because they've been right on so far for my whole life. So, and they've been talking to me my whole fucking time. So, I don't know. But I'm not out there trying to, because everybody has their own soul's journey. So it's not like I could sit there and tell somebody, oh, you won't die, for sure you won't die, because you may be gonna die. But death isn't real. It's not like you're really gonna die, but you may, out of the game, you may opt out, you may leave the game. So, I can't know that. I think people know it in their own self. They feel like, it may feel like, pressure, I gotta get everything done, or releasing things or whatever. Your soul has its own approach. But I feel like that you would know things inside of you, and they always will tell you things, but it isn't like, they're not gonna just tell you every single thing, because so much about what you're here to do is to learn this trusting, learning is, well, at this time, like I can't talk on every other fucking life ever, but at this time, like we're learning is like trust your communication, trust your discernment, connect to yourself, and you know, this growth in that way, this expansion. So yeah, I'm getting so distracted. I've got all these messages coming up. But anyways, I'll work some more on that tomorrow, and then I'm gonna see some mother for the weekend, and then stop back in Yakima, drop off the grand girls, and see the grand boys, babies, and then get back home, and then start all that work. I've got so much work to do there too, because I got all of the whole porch that was dismantled is all laying there. That's why I haven't got pictures and video. It was just way too rushed too. Once I get back and I get the mess cleaned up, and I'll do some videos, because maybe I'll sit out and by the porch or something. It's so cute. I love it. I can't believe how cute it is. And that is, to me, is like, you know, I could have stressed out, like I think I was going to say the other day, but I went off on something I forgot to say. But back in the day where I was so stressed about everything. I was always stressing money and all this stuff. And so, you know, taking away the porch, if I would have thought, okay, well, I've got enough money for this, and I'm just going to do this part. But they kept telling me, make sure you have enough to do the whole thing. Or they kept telling me to make sure and have a certain amount, which it came so exact, like it's crazy. And then, so they, but when it was taken down, because I had no idea if it was just going to be that much for the replacement stuff. So when it was being all taken down, it was a little stressful. But I kept trusting them and trusting them. And then when we went and got this stuff, what was I going to say? It was something else. But the old me would have stressed. But now I see it as like, oh my gosh. When things are falling apart, let them fall apart. Let them fall apart. Let them go away. And then the falling apart is a sign. It is a sign of letting go. And, you know, something else is coming. And, I mean, it's crazy just on the porch like that, because that would have really stressed me out before, back in the day. You know, my carport collapsed, crunched on my car. I had to go do that whole crisis. And it did stress me out. That would have fucking had me stressed out before. And then the porch thing too, where I was like, just keep going. I mean, I totally just trusted, and you know, and I mean, the whole front of my house was bare ass. I took everything off with just the 2 posts holding this roof up. And so we had, it was a big ass job. And it was so crazy how it was like we were in this, it was trippy. And there was times when the TV would say something. I mean, it did a lot for me. I'd be doing something or singing something, and then the TV would say something at the same time that I said, and it was trippy. But he was noticing it too. But I'm telling you, there's something about my house. He even said he felt so much better being there. The energy and stuff, he felt like it really helped him. And so that's good. I told him if he wanted to come back, I said, once stuff starts going down, you know, I've been planning for this. And so I'm going to be, you know, going. I'm not going to be here all the time, and I want to get all this work done. So it'd be perfect if you want to come here and stay. It's a great place for healing, and, you know, and you don't have to go at any pace. Take your time. You know, I'll just give you the money, and you do the work. And just stay there and just take your time and heal and do your thing. And he's like, yeah, I think he said he's going to quit his job. So I said, well, I'm not quite ready. I mean, you kind of need this money thing to collapse. But he did go buy silver and stuff, so he knows what I'm talking about. And he is talking to his, because even when his stepdad had died, you know, and he was, you know, my daughter kept telling him, don't talk to him about it and get him upset. But when she would go out, he would start talking to me, and he was like, yeah, he's talking to me and stuff. I said, that's real. And it's not in your head. And he goes, yeah, I'll do songs and all this stuff. And so when we were having this whole conversation, at some point I said, go ask him about the silver. If you think I'm crazy, go ask him and let him tell you. And so he went both silver. So, you know, and I don't know if it was because Scott told him, or if it was he just started believing what I was saying. But that would also be, I think, coming from his own internal, which that's a lot of communication. So Scott could be involved in that too, but that's what people got to see. Once you start opening up, you know, have like, there's a lot of communication, even if you're still thinking like that's your thoughts or whatever. I just heard a guy and he was trying to do like a method to get people to understand or something. And he said something about, say a word in your head, something like, I don't remember if it was like abundance or success or something like that. And so he said something like, say that in your head. And then he said, so whose voice did you say it in? Who did you hear say that? And I didn't listen to his whole thing, but that's the thing is, or I do agree with that. You got to start paying attention what's going on in here, because it's a lot more than just your thoughts. You got to realize you're processing. You've got communication coming in all the time. You got energy attachments just sitting there. You got all sorts of shit going on. And so, but it's up to you to start, you know, connecting to yourself and realizing, pay attention to your body. If your body's telling you, you know, it's tired, go sleep. If it's telling you it's hungry, go. If it's telling you it's stressed, you got to start figuring out, how do I de-stress? You know, I'm anti all of the pills that they want to give you, because it attacks other parts of your body. And another thing, problem that is going on is it becomes the lazy way out. People stop working on themselves. They're just like, well, I take a pill for it. I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry about that. I just take a pill. And so it is where people have got to start, you know, realizing like, well, I've got to figure out like what's going on with my thing. But my mom, you know, she's older now, and so, and I keep talking about the med beds and the age reversal and stuff, but she's just like, no. But, you know, they're getting way more, well, she's going to be raptured anyway, so I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be very curious. But how long have I said this? Like, I'm really wondering how this is going to affect her. Like, if the rapture doesn't go down like she says, I mean, that's like her whole entire belief system collapsing. I mean, I kind of hope that they do rapture her. So, you know, like, let those people rapture up there and let them work it out up in wherever they go. I don't know where they're going, but let them go there and work it out, because, fuck, it's going to be a hard one to get over. A lot, man. It'd be a lot. I've said this for a while, like that. It's going to be a rough one. And there's a lot of us who have religious people in our families, you know, well, older religious people too. I guess religion has kind of lost its thing over time. They said it's gone down, you know, but it's all of a sudden started skyrocketing back up, though. Because now you got all these people running and getting baptized, but it's all out of fear. What are you even doing? You're just doing it because you just want to go to heaven. Jesus is coming, repent. And so then they all run down and get baptized. It's like, okay, we didn't even have to do that. You just said Jesus. And you just swoop in and carry you away. So you don't have to worry about goddamn things. I don't know. You know, we'll see how it goes. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no way do I think this is going to be going on another year and a half. If I'm sitting here in another goddamn year and a half saying, I can't believe this has gone on now. 5 years I'm doing this. Motherfucking shit. God damn. Fuck. I bet, you know, I think our good sign is that, you know, there's cocaine in the house. There's the white cocaine. So we got that. We got doing everything to take down Kamal right now. They're doing everything to take down Joe right now. And they've already said they're putting on the Fed now. So, I mean, just because they're sitting around pretending like they didn't say it, it's like something's going to go down. So I still say this month, and what that is, and then that matches the QHHT things that all these people have been saying about the summer, this horrible, violent summer where everything's on fire and people are burning down cities and shit. And that was all in response to the anger to the medical, I think. And it's going to be the anger to the whole thing. Jesus Christ, the medical. That fucking lying to us about space. Like, the whole fucking thing. Every goddamn thing they've ever fucking told us. So, there's going to be a lot of anger. And a lot of violence and stuff. And then, just, like, when you think about the cycle of, like, uh, the one of death. Is that what it is? No, is it loss? It's when you have somebody die, there's a cycle. You go through, like, you earn denial, and then you go through, like, I think there's denial, anger, depression, there's one negotiation. It might be, there's 4 or 5, but there's a cycle that people go through. So when a thing happens, somebody dies, then they go into the first stage. And then that usually completes after whatever, it's different times for different people. And then it goes into the next one. So basically it's the stages, but the time can be all different. It's not like, okay, well, you'll go into that one and you'll be there 2 weeks. So just hold on 2 weeks. Then you'll go to no, it's your process. You'll be there however long it takes you to do it. And then it goes into the next stage. So there's the stages, like the steps that you go through. And that is kind of like on everything. So all of this stuff that is going to be going on is going to be going through stages. And so this summer would be, if it goes like that. Because I kind of feel like right now people are in denial. And, but, you know, we'll see. So it'll go through denial, anger, the violence, and then is that the negotiation, and then the last one is just to come to peace with it. And so it will be that process that'll start once the shit starts going. Like once the money collapses, the government collapses, that's going to start the dominoes going in all different ways. And then the chaos too, because when the money goes down, if they don't put the quantum thing in right away, it's going to shut everything down. There'll be no way to buy anything or do anything. So I don't, you know, I just don't know how long it's all going to last. So I just kind of see like how it's kind of going, and to me it seems like obvious. Like I would just get so weirded out, like how. So I'm going to ignore everything going on around me and everything I understand about energy and all that, and just go with, I don't know, each person has, you have your own stuff. You have your own way of seeing things, your own way of looking at things. And so it's up to you to use it. You know, use your discernment, your perspective. It's yours. So use it. And so I'll talk to you. I will probably, I don't know about tomorrow. Well, I mean, maybe she'll take tomorrow, though. I've got stuff to do too. I got paint, then I got to go to another place. Like, ugh. So I don't know. If I don't have time, you know, I'll just, when I get home, I'll get back to normal and be able to do it more regularly, and I'll have more to talk about. Like, there were so many things of conversations that my son-in-law and I had about like supernatural stuff and everything. I was like, oh man, but there's just been, it's like, so I feel like definitely in my own life, the energy is going, it's already in motion. And that is what my guides have told me. It's already, you're in motion, this is going. So I don't know, maybe I won't even have much time to sit and rest. I don't know what's next. I mean, somebody can call me and say, hey, what about this? Let's do this or whatever. And it can be, it seems like it's kind of going like that, you know, like it's just, and to me, that energy is the flipping. And when I watch, because the censorship was always a thing I was going to watch to try and gauge. And TikTok's highly, I'm so, it's ridiculous. And on here, they just keep still holding it. Like, I'm not sure what, you know, but there's going to be a jump. There'll be a turn, you know. I think it's going to be obvious. And it's got to be close. I just keep being like, oh, I just hope I can get home. I hope. But, you know, you're going to be where you're supposed to be. It's, you know, you're going to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And so if it is that it's going to go down, you know, while I'm out, then, I don't know, it means some of them are meant to be doing all that walking to get us ready for this. So we can walk home. I don't know. And then it's weird, too. It's like, you'd have no way to even contact over there to see, you know. But I just had like one little bag that I brought, so I barely brought anything. It was like a rush over here, do this, and rush back, you know. It wasn't like a big long thing. So, anyways, you know, just, I really have no idea, you know, if there's a lot of really horrible things happening right now. The only thing I've seen is stuff about those things that we're talking about. So, you know, hopefully everybody's okay and safe, and just keep working on everything, and just keep working on you. It's just the main thing. Just keep working on you, whatever that means to you. Just do what feels right for you, to you, and just be true to you. That's the main thing. Be true to you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.